Hey YouTube, thanks for coming to the stream. Today we're going to be having a look at The Tomorrow War starring Chris Pratt, the latest Amazon Prime exclusive in 4K. I'm going to break the film down into two parts. I'm going to review it firstly as a movie, and secondly we'll have a look at the video and audio quality of the film itself being streamed on Prime. I'll score them both out of 5. So if you want to know how they stack up and if it's worth checking out, then stay tuned to the video. Okay guys, so before we start, I should probably say I should probably go over the equipment that I'm using today, or that I used on Friday rather, to watch the film. So as you can see behind me, I've got the Sony STR-DH790 4K Bravia HDR TV, and I've got that linked up to a Sony AVR receiver, which is currently rigged up with standalone speakers and a 5.1.2 Atmos setup. As you can see behind me, I have the DOLBY certified upwards firing Atmos speakers, so they're not actually in my ceiling, but they do a pretty good job, I think, and they're pretty convincing with the overhead stuff. I'll put details of the equipment I use down in the comments if you're interested in checking that out. So the movie itself, personally I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a bit of a throwback to the summer blockbusters of the 90s. It had that kind of Roland Emmerich, Independence Day, Jurassic Park, those big summer blockbusters that I used to watch growing up as a kid. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. I felt the action sequences were great. The design of the aliens themselves was pretty good for what it was. Chris Pratt, he's pretty solid, good actor, great in those roles. I actually think he's an actor kind of a couple of decades too late. He strikes me as like an 80s, 90s actor. But you know, I thought the film certainly didn't suffer for having that kind of 90s vibe. I thought it kind of fitted the tone, and it was kind of in a world of Marvel and comic book heroes and whatnot. It was actually quite refreshing to have something semi-original. It romps along, it's got plenty of action, it will keep you entertained. I felt the ending was a little bit Hollywood, a little bit tacked on, and I didn't really feel shocked with where the plot went, but that said, it doesn't take away the enjoyment of it. So I would definitely check it out if you're into sci-fi, action, and certainly if you're a big Chris Pratt fan, which I'm not particularly, but if you are, you'll not be disappointed. It's a decent film. So I would give it probably 3 out of 5, I think, as a film in itself. Moving on to the video quality, I have to say I don't watch a huge amount of Amazon Prime stuff, but I was pretty disappointed. I mean, I was watching the film on Friday night at prime time, so that might have had something to do with why there was a little bit of a delay, or you know, a little bit of buffering going on. But I had to actually restart watching the film 3 times before I could get it to play at all. I just kept getting the wheel of death spinning around on my TV, and it was starting to really irritate me. Once it did get going, to be honest, the picture quality wasn't great, and that's not the film or the source's fault. It was just heavily pixelated. You could see the bitrate just wasn't there. It was okay in a static image, but the minute there was any action, which obviously there is a lot of in this film, it just lost that clarity, and it got really blurry, and it just took me out. It being a bit of a pixel peeper myself, it just kind of took me out, and I was more concerned about the picture quality than what was happening on the screen. It was that bad. However, that being said, come about like the second and third act of the film, maybe because it was later on at night, it kind of sorted itself out, and it had the clarity that you would expect from a 4K stream, especially a film, something that's been done recently and it's been mastered in a 4K digital intermediate. So resolution was perfectly fine once it got there, just a bit of a slow start. HDR, however, I felt was good. It's not a film that has it's got quite a subtle colour palette, shall we say, so there isn't any, it's not, if you're putting it on and hoping to see really bright, dazzling colours, you're not going to get a huge amount of that. I felt in the time travel scenes there was a bit of that, the special effects there, and the way they kind of visualise that, HDR helped pop and just give that a bit of grandioso, if you like. All the usual stuff you expect in an action film, like muzzle flares, explosions, you know, they are kind of eye burning, you know, and they're there and they just give that a little bit of punch to the film. HDR definitely helps this film. and I thought it was decent. It did its job. Moving on to the audio, however, that right from the start was impressive. It's a Dolby Atmos mix. As I say, I've got the setup capable of listening to it, and it's just full firing right from the start. It's wake up the neighbours stuff. A lot of overhead stuff. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but almost every action sequence has really notable stuff happening in the overhead height channels. All the surround stuff gets used constantly, you know, whether it's like the aliens scurrying about chasing you, or whether it's gunfire and rounds pinging past. Whenever there's an explosion, it seems to it really does fill the room. The bass throughout is awesome. The gunshots especially, I felt had a real, I don't know what they did with the sound effect, but it just, every gunshot in it just kind of drills right through, you know. It's really bombastic, and it hits you in the chest, and then the explosions, as you'd expect, are the same. So I have to say, the Dolby Atmos certainly made up for the lacklustre video performance that Amazon Prime provided. So to recap the audio and video, I think audio wise it was 5 out of 5, but that's not the only component in the review, so it's maybe a bit unfair, but I think maybe a 4 out of 5 for audio and video. Just brought down a little bit by the poor buffing, the poor video quality that Amazon brought to the picture, basically. I'd really love to see this on a 4K disc. I think with the 4K digital intermediate, this film will really come into its own. I think it could be demo worthy once it's got the benefit of that bitrate on a 4K UHD disc. Combined with the Atmos, I think it'll be pretty special. So I guess if you're thinking about watching it, if you're on the fence whether you're going to watch it or not, I would definitely recommend it. It's a bit of a experience on the ears, I have to say. The film's exactly what you'd expect for a Friday or Saturday night. It certainly delivers. It's not going to push you. I don't think any of the cast were pushed or outside their comfort zone making it. It's pretty much what it says in the tin, but that isn't always a bad thing. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're into sci-fi and action. So yeah, I would say overall 3.5 out of 5, and that's everything taken into consideration. I'll sign off there. I've got another video that I'm going to make for next week. I've got Looper 4K Steelbook winging its way to me from Zavvi, so I'm going to try my hand at a little unboxing and 4K Blu-ray review. So if you enjoyed this and you want to see the review for Looper, then please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and do us a wee favour. Alright, thanks for watching guys, cheers.